Welcome to my full YouTube studio breakdown. Everything in here is designed to make content fast and easy. I have my main camera. I also have a detailed camera here. I also have a top-down camera, and I have an amazing over-the-shoulder camera. So that way, no matter what I want to talk about in the studio, I can do it at a moment's notice. So no matter if I'm making a YouTube video, going live, or doing a Zoom call, anything I need to show and talk about can be done literally by controlling it with my feet. I kid you not. This is my full studio breakdown. And thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring a portion of this video. What's good, creative fam? Brandon Washington here. And today I am going to be taking you guys through this. This is my YouTube studio. This is where I'm going to be making all of my videos for the foreseeable future. And there's a lot of things that I built into the studio that I think is going to help a lot of creators out there. For starters, the entire purpose of this setup is to be able to walk in and make a video in a moment's notice, because I believe too many people don't make the video because it's too difficult to even get started. So I tried to eliminate all of that in here. I also couldn't spend a ton on this space, so there's a lot of budget cutting here and there in order to actually make this entire space possible, but also to make it as functional as possible. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the tour. So first, let's start with the heart of this setup, and that is the desk here. Now, connected directly underneath the desk is a baseline Mac Mini, the cheapest one you could possibly get, because I have found that that is probably the best deal when it comes to computers that Apple has ever released. Now, connected to this is this monitor as well as that teleprompter, and that is how I actually control everything. Everything in this entire studio is controlled through the one base Mac Mini. We're going to get into the cameras, we're going to get into the lights, we're going to get into audio, but everything comes directly from this desk, from this Mac Mini, and this keyboard and mouse, and that's how I control everything you see in this space. Okay, now when it comes to cameras, there's quite a few of them in here, but that's because I want to be able to give a full view of any products that I might be talking about when I'm sitting down here at the desk. My main camera is the Lumix S12 that is directly behind the teleprompter, and I love having that camera back there. I then also have two R7s that act as sort of my detailed cameras. So I have one that's directly slightly to the right of my main camera, but more so focused on a product shot. I also have another one here on a boom pole that's pointed straight down. This is sort of my top-down view, so that way if I'm doing unboxings or something along those lines, you can see that directly from this camera. And then my new addition is actually this guy right here. This is the Obspot Tail 2, and this guy here is an amazing PTZ camera, but it does it at a quality that literally stands up right next to all of my mirrorless cameras as well. So this 4-camera setup allows me to demonstrate whatever I need to and not have to worry about quality or that I'm getting the right angle for the video. Now, when it comes to lighting, things get even crazier. So these are all repurposed lights that I've had over the course of a few years now, and these have been reused from different studios. But my main key light right here with the grid on it, this is going to be the 300D. This is one of Aperture's older lights, but it still has been working well for me, and it gets the job done. Over here, I have the 300C that was in my past office, but now I actually have this shooting through a parabolic softbox, which allows me to get a nice big lighting source that not only can help light me, but also light up the desk and any products that I might be showcasing right here. The other lights that help bring this whole space together is this here. This is the Aperture Nova. This is a RGB panel light. I pretty much just use this to be able to bounce onto the wall. This was a light that I was using a lot in my professional productions, but have not really been using it lately. So I figured this would be a great place for it to live in the studio until it's needed again. Also up here, I have a Amaran 100D. This is one of their older lights, but again, it still just gets the job done, and it works within Amaran's ecosystem, so I can control all the lights from the computer. And then up here, I also have another one of Amaran's more affordable lights. This is the 60X, and I pretty much just use that light to sort of cast down on the plant, because the plant is in the background of the detail shot. And so this just allows me to be able to illuminate that really nicely, and then just to sort of help uplift those plants a little bit, give them a little bit more warmth to them for that shot. I do have a Amaran tube right down here. It's just on the floor. It kicks up a little bit of light and kind of allows that area to feel a little bit more warm and feel like it actually matches the aesthetic of the rest of this room. Oh, and let's not forget this Aperture MT Pro up here. This is just sort of a extra light that I can use to fill in any products directly from above, especially if I'm working with a lot of tech products, which typically are black. This just allows me to illuminate that a little bit better, especially for the over-the-shoulder camera. All right, now down here is where things get a little weird. The whole point of this studio was to be able to have everything as automated as possible. And so that includes these two guys. These are Elgato foot pedals. And what these allow me to do is through Ecamm, which is the software that I'm using to run this whole thing, which I'll explain here in just a second, they allow me to switch cameras. These are just as important as any camera or light in here because these are what allow me to do what I need to do in real time. And so each of them have 3 buttons on them. I run 2 of them because I need 6 buttons, and they both also just run directly into the Mac Mini. So everything I need to do, these sort of operate like a keyboard or mouse, but I can program them to almost do anything. Also, excuse the cable management. I'm trying really hard. I've got some of it done, but it's really hard. And when it comes to audio, well, there's 2 ways that I do it. I either run a lavalier mic like this directly into camera, but I'm currently using it for this situation, or I'll use this guy. This is the Rode Pod mic. I have this guy plugged in USB-C straight into the computer. And so I can use either one of these 2 audio sources. It pretty much just comes down to what makes more sense for the video, but you know, that's how I run audio in the studio. So how does this all practically lay out? Well, basically what happens is now that I run the entire system directly from here, I can control everything. As you guys can see here, I actually have my foot pedals for the Stream Deck right here. I can actually then hit those and then literally switch camera angles. So now I can switch and I have this camera angle. I can switch and now I have my over-the-shoulder camera angle. I can switch and I'm back at my main. And then I have another button here for the top down. But then what gets really interesting is when I'm on my wide, let's say I want to showcase something like this can of Red Bull. I can set the can right here and I can talk about it in my main video looking directly at camera. But if I want to also bring up the Red Bull as a profile shot, I can actually do that in just a moment's notice. And this is what Ecamm allows me to do. Ecamm allows me to do some picture-in-picture stuff like what you're seeing right here. I can even do the same thing but with the over-the-shoulder shot as well. And then I can click this button, it moves it back over to the side and it goes back to me on camera. And that's the reason why all of this is so helpful. All the cameras run directly into the computer, and that allows me to bring them into Ecamm and then be able to not only record videos through Ecamm, but I can also go live using Ecamm. The other thing I like is that while yes, all those edits can be done in real time, if I happen to mess up, Ecamm will also record all of the individual camera feeds as well. And because my office is wired for network, I literally have the computer Etherneted in. So whenever I record a video in here, it automatically goes directly to the NAS. And then from there, I can start editing it on any computer in the office because they're all connected to the NAS. Another question I kept getting, because I was posting some photos about this studio over on my Instagram, which, by the way, if you aren't following me on Instagram, you should definitely do that because that's typically where I post a lot of this stuff ahead of time. But I got some questions about this wall as well as these lights. Now, the wall is from a company called Wooden Veneer Hub. I'll have them linked down below in the description along with everything I've been talking about in this video. But then I found these lights on Amazon, and I'll have those linked down below in the description as well. They didn't really have like a brand name that I could remember, but they do come in this set. So it's this exact same set. So you get one that is 3 foot, one that is 2 foot, and then one that's a foot. I think that's the size of them. This might be a little bit bigger than a foot. But you basically get these 3 lights, but you get pairs of them. So you'll get this entire set with one purchase. No, you can't change the length of them. So I just came up with this design, and they don't technically fit inside of the actual slats perfectly. I actually had to put a screw into the bottom to sort of hold it up. And then I actually have another screw at the top that's holding them back against. They did come with some adhesive on the back of them, but they have been pretty much falling off. So the adhesive didn't really last for me. What really worked for me was putting a screw at the bottom to hold them up, and then putting another screw here to hold them back. And since I did that, I haven't had any issues. Okay, let me quickly thank today's video sponsor, Storyblocks. If you make videos, this is the shortcut you've been looking for. Unlimited downloads of diverse and high-quality media for one predictable subscription cost. See, I use Storyblocks to fill in the gaps fast. 4K and HD footage, templates, music, sound effects, images, everything in one place. So I'm not hunting across 10 different websites looking for the assets I need for my projects. The library lets me test and experiment and create freely without worrying about credits or overages. If you need a little reveal, an overlay, or some sound design, you can get that right inside of Storyblocks. You can also grab Premiere Pro and After Effects templates and swap in text, and then your edits are pretty much done. Licensing is simple. So everything is royalty-free, pre-licensed, and protected in perpetuity. So you can focus on literally just creating instead of stressing about the legal stuff. Plus, if you love working in the Adobe Creative Cloud system, there is actually a Storyblocks plugin directly for Adobe Creative Cloud. So you can search and import directly inside of your editing timeline. So if you're ready to speed up your workflow and really help your editing timeline, then head over to my custom Storyblocks link, storyblocks.com/Brandon Washington. So that way you can check it out for yourself. I'll also have it linked down below in the description. Go ahead and get started with the unlimited stock media so that way you can download it and get to work. And again, a big thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring this section of the video. So I can't say that this studio is perfect, but it is pretty dang close. I have pretty much got it to a place to where I think it's ready to go. I'm ready to start making videos in here, and you guys have probably already seen a couple videos that I've made using this new studio. I still have some things I want to dial in. There's still some stands on the floor that I desperately want to get off the floor because you guys know I hate stands, which is why I have everything I can on poles, but there are still a few lights that have to unfortunately live on stands for now. But eventually, the goal will be to finish mastering this. But at this point, I'd love to ask you guys, if you have any pointers, any way that I can help make this even more efficient, that would be amazing. I would love for you to share that with me down below in the comment section. Also, I will have links to everything I talked about in the description as well, in case you want to check out any of the items on their own. And if you guys want more detailed information on like how I actually set this up through Ecamm, how the lights are all triggered by the app, and how I'm able to actually control everything from the computer, definitely let me know. I felt like just going over the gear for this one would be great, but this will be part one of this full YouTube studio because I do have an entire podcast area as well that I'd love to break down and share with you guys in a future video. But let me know any questions you guys have, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.